Hello, this is your host, Adam Graham, and today we're featuring a compilation of our first Amazing World of Radio summer series focusing on rare radio programs across a wide variety of styles and genres. This was a short 6-week series, and due to YouTube content ID issues, we're omitting the second episode, and we've edited out a part of the third episode, but I've included a link to it in the show notes. In this compilation, you'll hear an episode of The Whistler, Chicago style. Then you'll hear a variety show featuring Jackie Gleason, a 1930s anthology drama series, a teenage radio sitcom, and then some of the most beautiful music ever go out over old-time radio. It's quite an adventure. I don't think I had any specific offers on these episodes, but if there were any made, they are not valid unless they are currently shown on our website. But now, let's go ahead and take a listen to this series.
Get ready for unique, rare, and little-known treasures from the golden age of radio. You're listening to The Amazing World of Radio with Adam Graham.
Welcome to The Amazing World of Radio. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, and I want to welcome you to this new series. It is a special, limited 6-week summer series brought to you by the support of my Patreon supporters at patreon.greatdetectives.net. My regular podcast is at the Great Detectives of Old Time Radio, greatdetectives.net, and we also do the Old Time Radio Superman show, and you can check out my previous podcast, The war.greatdetectives.net. During the course of the next 6 weeks, our initial series will bring you a variety of programs of music, comedy, and drama. Most of these are lesser known, lesser heard programs that are off the beaten path, but we remember them and we enjoy the rare fun they offer. Of course, we're going to start off with a series that most people have heard of, or most people into radio, and that is The Whistler. The Whistler came to radio in 1942, and it continued to air until 1955. It featured strange stories, crime, and dishonesty. Yet in the typical Whistler story, the evildoer was undone by something they had forgotten. A little detail that does them in. A twist in the tale. Usually you would go to commercial thinking that they'd gotten away with it, only to find out how they slipped up. However, The Whistler was primarily a West Coast program. It was sponsored by the Signal Oil Company, and it was only aired on CBS in the West, except for a couple of seasons when it did get national airtime, but it was still all produced on the West Coast, except there was another version of The Whistler that aired in Chicago. It was a Whistler series made in the city of Chicago with local talent from that city. So we're going to bring you this rare Chicago-based episode of The Whistler. The original air date, September the 8th, 1946. And the title is A Brief Pause for Murder.
Whistle is your invitation to another Meisterbrow mystery drama presented by The Whistler.
I am the Whistler, and I know many things, for I walk by night. I know many strange tales hidden in the hearts of men and women who've stepped into the shadows. Yes, I know the nameless terrors which they dare not speak.
Meisterbrow Beer, the Master Brew, served more often in Midwest homes than any other beer, brings you another curious story by the Whistler. Tonight, brief pause for murder.
Roger couldn't recall the exact moment when it ceased to be a thrill to beam brightly at a microphone and announce.
This is Roger Wixon bidding you good night.
He was sure, though, that the glamour and magic of radio had gone out of his life the moment he'd married Tisha. Yes, and she'd taken a lot of other things out of his life, too. Things like pride and confidence and self-respect. And Roger couldn't recall either the precise instant he decided to kill Tisha. When the helpless, frustrated hate for her blotted out any pangs of conscience, left him frankly admitting to himself that all he wanted were the moment and the means. Of course, there was no plan in his mind on the night of the dance at the country club. No plan, just a decision. He'd come home first, after leaving her there with Trent Crandall, and had sat alone in the living room, patiently waiting for her. It was after 2 when the door opened, and she called back to Trent.
Good night, Trent, darling. Thanks for the buggy ride. Well, Roger, you waited up for me. How sweet of you.
Not at all. Just catching up on my reading here.
Oh, reading Trent's new book. He'd be so flattered, darling.
Had to fall back on something simple. Started on the Rover Boys, but I got stuck on the big words.
That's why you waited up, isn't it? You thought of a clever remark all by yourself, and you wanted me to hear it.
I only wanted to tell you, Tisha, that I think you're being very stupid.
You mean about Trent?
It makes no difference to me if you want to play footy with the town's most distinguished visitor. But our fellow citizens have a way of talking, you know.
If you're implying that
I'm not implying anything.
Well, why don't you join us some evening? Play chaperone.
Trent Crandall is a celebrity, Tisha, and whatever he does is news. If it got back to his wife, she might possibly misinterpret. She just might assume there was more to your association with Trent than a healthy interest in his books.
There is? I love him. And it doesn't concern Mrs. Crandall. The moment she's on her way to Reno.
I see. And of course it doesn't concern me either.
Shouldn't. When the divorce is granted, I'll be leaving you, naturally. Ah, there it is again.
What?
Facial expression number 2A. The inscrutable smile. You were wearing it at the club tonight. Rather expected to see the other one. Patient suffering, I believe it is.
Good night, Tisha.
You're glad I'm leaving you, aren't you? That's why you smiled.
Maybe.
Of course, you'll have to get along without my money.
I said good night, Tisha.
Just good night? No recriminations? You know, I couldn't sleep a wink if I thought you were brooding over something.
Why, of course not. You were brilliant tonight, Tisha. I enjoy being sneered at in front of a room full of people. And it was an inspiration, you calling Mr. Gladney, the man I work for, the program director of a peanut whistle.
He's an incompetent, offensive stuffed shirt. Why shouldn't I tell him so?
Very well, Tisha.
Is that all?
That's all.
All right, darling. This is Mrs. Roger Wixon, bidding you good night.
So Tisha leaves, and you sit alone in the living room thinking. You've discovered a very important thing, haven't you, Roger? The reason you'd given yourself for wanting to kill her is gone. She's going to leave you of her own accord and marry Trent Crandall. But it doesn't seem to make any difference, does it? Nothing matters, not even her money. You're going to kill her because you hate her. That's all the reason you need. But how, Roger? How? The next morning, shortly after you arrive at the station, you run into another announcer in the corridor.
Hi, Rod.
Well, Jerry.
How's the thing at the club?
All right.
Hated to miss it.
That's funny. I thought I saw you there.
Probably heard me. I had the remote last night, banned from the Cedars.
Yeah, that's right. I heard you. We tuned in over at the club.
Very simple. On the air from the Cedars, can't be at the club. At the club, can't be on the air from the Cedars. Conclusion, Jerry wasn't there. Get it?
Yeah. Yeah, Jerry. I get it.
See what a hard life we radio announcers lead? Well, it can't be helped. The show must go on and all that sort of thing, you know. But honestly, radio announcing is a lot of fun, especially if you have a much-talked-about product like Meisterbrau beer to discuss. You see, the nice things we say about Meisterbrau beer are just the same things that folks are saying every day about this famous master brew. For instance, when we tell you that Meisterbrau beer is better 4 ways, better taste, better head, better body, and as a result, better value, well, that's exactly what Meisterbrau drinkers said about their favorite beer when they were interviewed recently by an independent research organization. Yes, Meisterbrau, the beer that's better 4 ways, always. So, friends, remember golden good Meisterbrau beer next time you're thirsty. You'll find the pleasure is all yours when yours is Meisterbrau beer. Now, back to the Whistler.
Well, Roger, it doesn't matter that Tisha plans to leave you, does it? The decision to kill her has been part of you for so long, and nothing she does will ever change it. So you don't think of the why of it anymore, just the how. And part of the how took shape in your mind when Jerry Edwards explained that it was impossible for him to be both on the air from the Cedars and at the country club at the same time. Something to think about, isn't it, Roger? And that evening, as you're doing your news broadcast, you find something else to think about. Halfway through the show, someone hands you a late bulletin.
Should go a long way,
with a local
toward
dateline.
solving the housing problem. Here's a late bulletin. Police in this city went on 24-hour duty tonight, launching an all-out effort to capture the so-called whipcord strangler, who claimed his 3rd victim last night. The crime followed the grimly familiar pattern. Mrs. Dorothea Eckler was found dead in her apartment early this morning. Medical reports indicate death had been caused by strangulation with a cord or thong. As in other cases, the apartment had been looted. Police warned residents to take special precautions.
You hope your listeners will attribute that catch in your voice to revulsion at the horrible crimes. But it's something quite different, isn't it, Roger? Another part of the how. You've decided now that Tisha will die in a way that will point to the whipcord strangler as the only suspect at the very moment you are broadcasting from the studio. It'll have to be a recording, of course. So there's another big problem. How can you get one of the station engineers to play a recording of your voice at the right time and to keep his mouth shut, no matter what happens? Because a recording must always be announced as a recording. That stops you, doesn't it, Roger? For 3 more days it stops you. Then fate steps in again. Mr. Gladney, the program director, called you into his office to meet a new employee.
Want you to meet a new engineer, Wixon. Vern Stevens.
Hello there.
Aye. Be working with you on the night shift?
I've seen you somewhere before, haven't I?
I don't think so.
Your name is Stevens?
Yeah. Stevens. Well, I've got to run along. Explain the setup to Stevens, will you, Wixon?
You bet, Mr. Gladney. You know, I'd swear I've seen you somewhere before.
Must have been a couple of other guys. Haven't you got a station break coming up?
Yeah. Let's do it.
As you give the station's call letters and the time signal, you watch the new engineer through the glass of the control room. Try to imagine what he'd look like without the mustache, with a face a little less drawn. Then something clicks. You do know him. 6 years ago at another small radio station in the Midwest. You cut off your mic, and the smooth voice of the network announcer booms from the loudspeaker over your head, introducing a program of dinner music. When you re-enter the control room, Stevens is showing elaborate interest in the dials on the instrument panel before him.
Say, Stevens.
Yeah?
I'm sure we've met before.
I don't know. There are lots of faces like mine.
Not exactly like it.
Huh?
You just might be a guy I used to know at WSLR.
I tell you, you're wrong. Will you let it go at that?
Hey, cut that speaker, will you? I can't hear myself think. That's better.
Look, Wixon, I'm new here. I don't want to be rude, but I've got to study this panel layout.
Sure. Sorry, Stevens. I didn't mean to bother you, but you're just like a guy I used to work with at WSLR 6 years ago. Only his name was Spore. Vern Spore.
My name's up there on my license. Take a look.
Vern Stevens, Vern Spore. You and this guy could have been brothers. Well, okay. I guess I'll write to the boys back at WSLR and ask if they know what they... Yeah?
Okay, Wixon. You win. I want to talk to you.
Sure.
Let me turn this thing off. You always were a pretty good guy. How about forgetting you ever knew me?
Oh, I don't see why not. It's your business.
You probably heard about that jam I got into right after I left WSLR.
What happened?
It didn't seem like anything at the time. Some smart operators were rounding up some radio equipment, transmitter parts and stuff, and selling it to stations below the border. I slipped them some old beat-up junk from the station where I was working and got caught.
That was tough.
A year in the clink. Had to change my name when I got out.
Oh, what about the license?
A friend fixed it up.
I see.
You won't say anything?
Why should I?
Thanks, Wixon. Gosh, when you walked in here tonight, I like to die. If Gladney ever found out about my record...
Sure.
And listen, Wixon, if there's anything I can do...
Sure, Vern. Don't worry. I'll call on you.
So that's all there is to the how, isn't it, Roger? Stevens is your man, and he'll play ball anytime you ask him. All that remains is when. And you can name your time. At least that's what you think, until late that evening when you arrive home to find Tisha talking on the phone to Trent Crandall.
Why, of course, Trent, darling. Anytime you say. When? Day after tomorrow. Oh, that doesn't give me much time to get ready. Roger. Oh, don't worry about him. After all, darling, what has he to say about it? But why should I talk it over with him? If I want to go to Hollywood with you, that's all there is to it. Well, I think you're being a little unreasonable, dear. All right. All right, if you say so, I'll talk to him. Yes, I'll call you back. Good night, darling.
Good evening, Tisha.
When did you come in?
Just now. How is the dear boy?
Trent?
Naturally.
Quite well, thanks. Are you concerned about Trent?
I seem to have good reason to be concerned about him.
I'm going to Hollywood with him, if that's what you mean. Do you want
to make something of it? Maybe I do. I think you might have consulted me.
Suppose I told you you have nothing to say.
You intend to commit bigamy?
What do you mean?
I'm assuming you mean to marry him.
After his divorce is final, of course.
What about your own divorce?
I'll take care of that. Don't worry.
Did you ever stop to consider your grounds? You might have something to learn about divorces. You see, I happen to be the injured party, and there isn't a court in the country that would award you a divorce if I chose to contest it.
Well, I might have been a little rash at that. You see, I assumed you had pride.
You've left me very little. But you're right. I do have some pride. Tisha, you're not going to Hollywood with Trent.
Wait a minute, Roger.
You wait a minute. You're going to stay here with me for the next week after he leaves. Then we're going to leave town for our vacation together. And you can go on to Hollywood. I'll return alone.
And supposing I don't agree...
You can remain Mrs. Roger Wixon. It's all right with me. You want to call Trent back?
Very well, Roger. I'll call him.
Yes, Roger. It's important that Tisha stay with you, for the moment at least, until the when is settled, of course. And a week should give you enough time, shouldn't it? The answer to the when comes unexpectedly the next evening, when Lieutenant Krasner of the police department comes into the station to ask a favor.
Mind if I interrupt you for a minute, Mr. Wixon?
Oh, hello, Lieutenant. Not at all. Come on in.
Thanks. Just been talking to Mr. Gladney. He suggested I see you about some announcements on the police benefit next week. Thought maybe you'd do them for us.
Well, sure. Be glad to. When do you want them to start?
Tonight, if you can. Let's see, I got them right here.
Oh, tonight? That's pretty short notice. The schedule's pretty full.
Here they are. Yeah, I know throwing you a curve, but as you probably see by the papers, we've been a little busy these days.
Oh, you mean the Strangler?
Yeah. It's been pretty rough.
Pretty rough guy.
Yeah. Your wife home alone while you're working here?
Yes.
Tell her to keep the windows locked. That's the way the guy gets in.
Oh, now, Lieutenant, you
Nobody knows where he'll strike next. And it doesn't pay to take chances.
Got any leads?
A few. I got a hunch or two. I think we'll get them.
I hope so.
Yeah. What about the announcement?
Well, now, let me check the schedule. Here we are. First time we can give you is a station break at 10 tomorrow night. Is that soon enough?
I guess it'll have to be. Can you do it yourself?
Yes, it'll be on my shift.
Thanks a lot, Wixon. I'll tell the boys at the station. We'll be listening.
And that does it, Roger. The when is complete, too. Police Lieutenant Krasner is going to hear you read that announcement tomorrow night at 10 o'clock, along with his friends down at headquarters. And who could ask for a better alibi than that? Late that night, when you and Vern Stevens are alone at the station, you walk easily into the control room. He's turned off the annoying loudspeaker, as usual, when the boss isn't around, and glances occasionally at the dancing needle on the volume indicator to assure himself that the network program is going out to the listeners.
I saw the 9 o'clock news, Vern.
Okay, why?
Can you keep something under your hat?
Try me.
I'd hate to have the old man find out, but I've got a chance to go to Hollywood.
Yeah?
Yeah, a friend of mine with an agency out there thinks he could use me. I'll make more dough on one broadcast than I get in a week around here.
Gee, that's great. Going big time,
Oh,
huh?
it's not definite yet. That's why I don't want anybody around here to know. You're the only one I've told. But I just got a wire from the guy, and he'll be going through on a special tomorrow night. And if I didn't have to work, I could talk to him for about 20 minutes while the train is stopped. But I gotta work.
Well, why not trade shifts tomorrow night with one of the other guys?
Well, I'd have to say why, and I don't want anyone else to know about it, you know.
Oh, won't the guy come up from the depot?
You don't ask guys like that to come up from depots. Nope. Guess I'm sunk. Can't be in two places at once.
Yeah. It's pretty important you meet this guy, isn't it?
It might mean I could get out of this dump. Oh, forget it. It's no use.
Hey, wait a minute. What time does the special get in?
9:55.
Let's see. At 9:45, we've got a band on the net from Hollywood. At 10, we take Murder Manor from New
Yes,
York.
but there's a station break at 10 and that police announcement and time signal. And I'm sunk because I've got to be in front of a mic for 30 seconds.
What are you talking about? Let's record it.
Huh?
Sure, we can do it tonight, right here in the studio. Give the call letters, the time signal, and your announcement. I'll play the record for you tomorrow night at 10. That means you can leave here at 9:45 and won't have to be back until the 10:30 break. Gives you 45 minutes.
What, do you think it'd work?
Why not?
Well, suppose Gladney finds out I left the station. I'll get canned.
How's he going to find out? We'll be alone here, and after I play the record, I'll destroy it.
Vern, did anybody ever tell you you were a genius?
Well, there's your mic.
You all set?
Yep. Got your copy?
Yeah, right here.
Okay, we're ready. I'll cue you from the booth.
Right. This is WTUX, the voice of the Wheat Belt. It's 20 seconds before 10 p.m. Friends, here's a chance for you to show your appreciation.
Cut. Hold it.
What's the matter?
Just got an idea. I started over and purposely make a mistake and then correct it.
Mistake? Why?
Simple. If you give the time wrong and then correct yourself, it'll sound more than ever like you're actually in the studio. Nobody'd ever dream it was a record.
Okay, let's try it.
Watch me for the cue.
This is WTUX, the voice of the Wheat Belt. 20 seconds before 9 p.m. Correction, 10 p.m. Friends, here's a chance for you to show your appreciation for the men who protect your homes and loved ones 24 hours a day, year in and year out.
So it's done, Roger. The record is made, ready to go. And you know you can count on Vern Stevens to come through for you. The next day is the big one, but you manage to go through your normal routine at home during the morning and early afternoon. As usual, you don't say much to Tisha, only enough to discover that since Trent Crandall has left for Hollywood, she'll be home all evening, alone. At 9:30 that night, you call Lieutenant Krasner at the police station.
Just thought I'd remind you, Lieutenant, your announcement goes on in half an hour. Yeah, I think it'll do the job.
At 9:45, you give the station call letters and start out of the studio.
Okay, Vern. I'll see you before 10:30.
Right.
And don't forget to bust that record if the old man...
Don't worry about that. I'll carry the secret to my grave.
You're careful to take the back streets home, keeping well within the speed limit. There's only one person in the world who'll know you're going to be in two places at the same time tonight, and you know Vern Stevens won't talk no matter what he suspects. It wouldn't be healthy for a man with a prison record to expose himself to suspicion as a possible accomplice. 10 minutes later, you've left your car in an alley and walked up to the back door of your apartment. You reach in your side pocket. Yes, the leather thong is there, ready to go.
It's you.
Hello, Tisha.
What are you doing home so early? You scared me to death.
Just thought I'd drop by and see how you were doing. I've often wondered if you missed me, Tisha, during these long, lonely evenings.
Answer my question, Roger. Why aren't you at the station? What's wrong?
Nothing's wrong. I just got tired, so I came home.
What are you talking about?
Tired, Tisha. Tired of station breaks. Tired of this dumpy little town.
What's the matter with you, Roger? Why are you looking at me that way?
I'm tired of you, Tisha. I'm tired of the farce you've made out of this marriage, if you can call it a marriage.
Roger, you don't know what you... What do you mean, Roger?
It wasn't really a marriage, was it, Tisha? It was only a means for you, a way you could ease that frustrated black heart of yours when Trent Crantle married somebody else right under your nose.
Roger, what are you...
Yes, Tisha. I'm tired of humiliation, of ridicule, of being used for a doormat.
Get away!
Playing clown for that crowd of stupid sophisticates. You didn't think of that, did you, Tisha? Never entered your head, did it? Too late now, though. Too late.
In just a moment, the Whistler will return with a strange ending to tonight's story. But suppose we turn for a moment from this horrible scene in Roger and the late Tisha's living room to the thousands of happy living rooms around this country tonight. If we were able to look into some of these homes, perhaps your own, we'd find any number of people enjoying the refreshing goodness of golden Meisterbrau beer right now. You see, more Meisterbrau is served in Midwest homes than any other beer. That means a lot of homes with a lot of happy, refreshed individuals in them. Now, in case you haven't enjoyed sparkling Meisterbrau beer at your house for quite a little while, why not lay in a supply of this famous Master Brew, the beer that's better 4 ways? With golden good Meisterbrau beer in the house, you're always set for that evening of refreshing entertainment, either for yourself or for those friends who drop in unexpectedly. Yes, you'll find that the pleasure is all yours when yours is Meisterbrau beer. Now, back to the Whistler.
Well, Roger, it's done now, isn't it? Tishy is dead, and you're free. With over a half hour to get back to the station. You leave her there on the floor, put on a pair of gloves, and move quickly about the apartment, dumping the contents of drawers all over the room. Then into the bedroom, where you open a window. Yes, Roger, it must look like a typical whipcord strangler crime with robbery the obvious motive. You're lucky Tisha had the radio playing. It covers any noise you might make. Then suddenly the music stops. You stop dead in your tracks as you hear the announcer give the interrupt cue.
We interrupt this program to bring you a flash from the local police department. Chief of Police Thayer has announced that a suspect arrested this afternoon has confessed to the whipcord stranglings of 3 women in this city during the past month. Nearly half the loot stolen from his victims has been recovered. With this dangerous criminal now in custody, citizens can now...
With a frantic gasp, you turn the radio down. This is something you hadn't counted on, Roger. One of your alibis is gone. The fall guy is in custody. Stare at the littered room, wondering if you have time to restore the place to order. No time for that. The other alibi. That's the one you'll have to depend on now. Rush back to the radio. It's just 10 o'clock. If Ern Stevens hasn't bungled, you've still got a chance. Your hand is shaking so violently you can hardly turn the dial to the station's frequency. Then...
WTUX, the voice of the wheat belt. 20 seconds before 9 p.m. Correction, 10 p.m. Friends, here is a chance for you to show your appreciation for the men who protect your homes and loved ones 24 hours a day.
Your own voice comes over the speaker, you begin to relax.
I'm speaking of the
station full of police officers are hearing it. Doesn't matter how she died or who did it. The fact remains a man can't be at two places at the same time.
Join your friends there. Be sure to attend this
Can't
great
be at two places at the same time.
And at the same
Perfect
time help
alibi.
the widows and orphans,
Good old
brave men
Vern.
who live in your service and die for your protection. For your protection. For your protection.
What?
For your protection. For
Vern.
your protection.
Stop it!
For your protection.
Turn it off!
The Peter Hand Brewery Company of Chicago, brewers of Meisterbrow beer, bring you the strange tales of the Whistler on the station every Sunday night at 9:30. Next week, another exciting story by the Whistler. Tonight's story was produced by Sherman Marks with music conducted by Hunter Kaler. Tonight's story starred Fahey Flynn as Roger, Beverly Younger as Tisha, Ken Griffen as Stevens. All characters portrayed in tonight's episode are imaginary, and any similarity to persons living or dead is purely coincidental. If you would like to be in the studio audience, address your request for free tickets to radio station WBBM, Wrigley Building, Department A, Chicago 11, Illinois. And by the way, the latest thrilling Whistler movie, The Mysterious Intruder, starring Richard Dix, is now showing at the LaSalle Theater, Madison at Clark. Be sure to see it. Remember, Meisterbrow means the master brew. This is the WBBM Air Theater, Wrigley Building, Chicago.
Welcome back. Well, I think the episode worked fairly well, though I have a little mixed feelings on the final twist ending. And the sponsor of the program, the Peter Hand Brewing Company, was fairly important in the city of Chicago at that time. In the 1960s, it would become one of America's top 30 breweries. But under financial pressure, they ended up having to sell its brand names to the Miller Brewing Company, and then Peter Hand Brewing went out of business in 1978, which meant that there were no more breweries in the city of Chicago after that. This program is brought to you by the support of our Patreon listeners for the Great Detectives of Old Time Radio. We take a look at another rare and unusual radio program. Last week, we brought you a great musician. This week, we're going to bring you the great one, Jackie Gleason. Before he really became the huge star that he would be and played the defining role of Ralph Cramden, Jackie Gleason was abound a little bit in the golden age of radio, and he actually had his own show. And we'll bring you an episode of that program. It's the Jackie Gleason-Les Tremayne Show. The original air date is September 24th of 1944. Let's go ahead and we'll take a listen.
Double feature starring Jackie Gleason with Les Tremayne, Andy Rutzel, Toots Camerata and his orchestra, and Miss Patsy Garrett. Now here's the big boy himself, Jackie Gleason.
Thank you. Figaro. Figaro. Hey, Figaro, your mother wants you. Faster, la tubes.
Jackie, what do you think you're doing?
Tremayne, you are now looking at the great Gleason of the Baby Grand Opera Company.
You mean the Grand Opera Company?
No, Baby Grand. This is a small company. You should have heard me the other night singing outside the Metropolitan.
Well, why didn't you sing on the inside?
That's where I started. I was singing pear-shaped tones, and somebody hit me in the mouth with a banana.
Well, don't let that worry you, Jackie. Why don't you sing something now, just for me?
Do you really want me to sing something, Les?
No, but I'd like a banana.
I don't think you realize that I happen to come from one of the most musical families in the world. My mother did a solo at the opera, my sister did a solo, and my brother did a solo.
What about your father? Did he do a solo?
Well, where he was, they called it solitary.
Well, Jackie, that's a musical heritage of which you may be proud.
And who hath more reason to be proud? Who hath? Hath anyone?
Don't ask me. I pass.
You know something, Les? I'd like to sing something really fine for you. Just listen to this. Isn't that wonderful?
Wonderful? What was that?
That, my friend, was the end of the unfinished symphony. Figaro.
Hey, what's going on here?
Oh, hello, Andy. I was just loosening up.
Oh, excuse me. I thought you were falling apart.
Andy, my boy, it was a wise man who said that we learn something new every day. And today we learned that Jackie Gleason is an opera singer.
An opera singer? Do you sing pretty?
I sure do, beautiful. You should hear me go into an obligato. Out of an obligato into a cadenza. Out of a cadenza into a staccato. And out of a staccato into an oxygen tent.
Jackie, I don't mean to be rude, but I don't think you know anything about singing. Singing is a very complicated art. You have to know exactly where your voice comes from.
Why, I know all about my voice. This morning I started it in the abdomen. Then I forced it up to the diaphragm. From the diaphragm, I pushed it up through the alimentary canal to the larynx. From the larynx, I shoved it up through the epiglottis. And from the epiglottis, I heaved it up to the cranium. Then I dragged it back down to the oral cavity and shot it out between my teeth.
Yeah. What happened to it after that?
The last I heard of it, it was going through Pittsburgh like a mink.
Jackie, if you really want to know how a voice should travel from the diaphragm to the epiglottis, listen to Andy Russell as he sings Sunny Side of the Street.
Your coat and get your hat, leave your worries on the doorstep. Just direct your feet to the sunny side of the street. Can't you hear a pitter-pat, and that happy tune is your step. Life can be so sweet on the sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the shade with those blues on parade. Oh, but I'm not afraid. This rover crossed over. If I never have a cent, I'll be rich as Rockefeller. Gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the I used to walk in the shade with those blues on parade. Oh, but I'm not afraid. This rover crossed over, and if I never have a cent, I'll be rich as Rockefeller. Gold dust at my feet on the side of the street that's sunny.
You see, Jackie, Andy is a real singer. You notice the response he gets when he sings? See how the girls swoon?
Means absolutely nothing. I do the same thing.
You mean the girls swoon when you sing?
Are you kidding? Stand back a few paces. Arpeggio, please.
Les cantaires, rebelles, a peculiar sort of again. Away soldier devil, but beyond the level. Oh, you're grand. But my girl, your troubles, sorrows, and cares. She was always willing to care. Away sort of devil.
Don't overlap my singing, please.
But dead on the level was my girl.
Let me have it, honey. Let me have it. Well, just call a doctor and have the girls removed. Well, Les, how did you like that song? Didn't you like that closing passage?
Yes, but your middle section, entirely tu bravura forzando.
That happens to be the way this suit fits.
No, Jackie. Every musician should be familiar with musical terms. Now, for instance, what do you know about rubato, glissando, miserere, grosso?
Only the best backfield Notre Dame ever had.
No, you don't understand. Miserere means miserable, and grosso means big and fat.
I was out with a miserere grosso last night.
Jackie, I give up. You not only don't know how to sing, but you don't know anything about music.
That is ridiculous. Why, I've even written music. Great music. At the age of 9, I began to write symphonies, operas, and concertos.
Really? I'd like to hear some of your decompositions.
You mean compositions. Decomposition is something rotten. You can't discourage me, Tremayne. I'm going ahead as a composer. You don't know how I've worked and struggled. Every morning since I was 6 years old, I've gotten up, gone downstairs, sat on the piano stool, and practiced for 5 hours. I practiced hour after hour, day after day, year after year, sitting on the piano stool, practicing. Then one day, after 15 years, came my first big disappointment.
What was that?
I found out we didn't have a piano.
Jackie, you do not have the true spirit of a composer. A composer must hear the music of the spheres. You must hear it from the heart. You must hear it from the soul. You must hear it from the brain.
What do you hear from the brow?
Hey, Jackie, the Metropolitan Opera Company just phoned. They expect you tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock.
Thank you, Patsy. Thank you. That's the call I've been waiting for. Tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock, I am going to audition my new opera entitled La Belladonna a Picadora. Or don't chop any more wood tonight, Mother. I'm coming home with a load.
Jackie, you don't mean you've written a grand opera?
Gee, I didn't think you could do that, Jackie.
You didn't think I could write an opera?
I didn't think you could write.
I hope you're going to audition this opera in style, Jackie. You know, you should get somebody to sing the aria.
Oh, well, gosh, I can help you. Then listen to what I can do. A little worm saw another little worm fly in the field one day. He fell in love with the other little worm, and his heart was light and gay. You're beautiful, he told the little worm. I'd like to be your friend. Don't be a dope, the other worm replied, 'cause I'm your other end. Don't you like my voice, Jackie?
Your pizzicato is too legato, and your vibrato is much too staccato for such a young tomato.
Well, you just don't appreciate good singing. Why, my voice sets men's hearts ticking. It awakens them. It has a ring in it.
Well, wind it up and set it for 8 o'clock.
Now, the next thing we ought to find is a leading man.
Yes, that's right. Now, where can we find a handsome, romantic young singer?
Hello, Mr. Gleason.
How are you, Andy? The man who plays the part must have dark hair and eyes and a beautiful lyric voice.
Hello, Mr. Gleason.
How are you, Andy? He must have dash. He must have dash and charm. He must be the great lover type.
Hello, Mr. Gleason.
How are you, Andrew? He must have... Why, Andy, you're just the man I'm looking for.
Do you mean it, Mr. Gleason?
Yes. Will you run down to the corner and get me a bag of pistachio nuts?
Jackie, Andy's the very man to sing the romantic lead.
Do you know anything about opera, Andy?
Sure, Jackie. Opera runs in my family. My brother's at home right now singing a duet from Faust.
Who with?
Me.
Well, what are you doing here?
Oh, I finished first.
He finished first.
Jackie, before you go ahead with this opera business, let me warn you that composers lead lives of great poverty.
I know all about that. But look at the rewards they got. Take the life of Johann Sebastian Grudnik. Wonder what his name was before he changed it. He was a poor composer with 11 children. One day he took his 11 children for a parade. And when he returned, he counted his children, and there were 12. So he took aside the 12th child, sat down at the piano, and composed his first musical masterpiece to this little gurgling fellow in swaddling clothes.
What was it?
Is you is or is you ain't my baby.
Embrace me, my sweet embrace. Embrace me, my irreplaceable. Just one look at you. My heart grew tipsy. You and you alone bring out the gypsy.
The Toxic Conference feature on the air.
I love all the many times about you. And above all, I want my arms around you. Don't be a naughty baby. Come to Papa, my sweet embrace. Don't be a naughty baby. Come to Papa. My sweet
Boy, what an opera. What an opera I wrote. The overture opens with a wail on the trumpet. Now all I have to do is teach a whale to play a trumpet.
Now, wait a minute, Jackie. What's the plot of your opera?
It's about a king who is receiving a committee. The first committeeman steps forth, sings, and dies. The second man steps forth, sings, and dies. The third man steps forth, sings, and dies.
But operas don't have plots like that. Now, take your favorite opera, for instance. What is your favorite opera?
Well, the one I like best is The Barber of Seville. The way it's sung by my uncle, Fortissimo Gleason. Otherwise known as Lawrence Forbits. He sings twice as loud as Lawrence Tibbets.
How do you like Rigoletto and Traviata?
With meatballs and plenty of sauce.
Now, let's take the plot of Puccini's great opera, Tosca. Throughout the opera, the leading tenor, Cavaradossi, is chased by the police.
He sings that bad, huh?
And then, in the final scene, the hero's sweetheart stabs the chief of police and places a lighted candle at his feet.
Oh, it isn't enough she stabs him. She's got to give him a hot foot.
I remember the night I heard Caruso sing Tosca. He had a magnificent voice.
You should have heard my uncle. He was such a great singer that 2 years after he lost his voice, he was still singing Pagliacci in sign language.
Is he still singing?
No, he broke his finger hitting a high C, and we had to shoot him.
song and a fine singer. Andy Russell brings us his version of Don't Blame Me.
Don't blame me for falling in love with you. I'm under your spell, but how can I help it? Don't blame me. Can't you see? You do the things that you do. If I can conceal the thrill that I'm feeling, don't blame me. I can't help it. If that doggone moon makes me need someone like you. Blame your kiss, as sweet as a kiss can be, and blame all your charms that melt in my arms, but don't blame me. I can't help it if that doggone moon above makes me need someone like you. Love, so blame your kiss, as sweet as a kiss can be, and blame all your charms that melt in my arms, but don't blame me. A little traveling music, let's go!
Hey, you kids, get off of that roof!
That's good booze.
Oh, watch out for those swinging doors, Mr. Denny. Here's Charlie!
This is the Armed Forces Radio Service.
One of these days. One of these days. Pow! Right in the
Played by Shirley Bradley. Don Gordon.
Welcome back. Well, Jackie Gleason, I've never heard or seen anything where he was quite as good before he played in The Honeymooners than he was in The Honeymooners, but he was still a solid radio comedian. And the jukebox sketch is funny. The use of opera in a comedy routine is a little bit less unique for comedians in this era. Ed Wynn was probably the best at pulling it off. That part was okay. Of course, Les Tremayne, Jackie Gleason's partner and straight man in this, is no stranger to fans of radio. He was considered by many to be one of the three most distinctive voices on radio, behind only President Roosevelt and Bing Crosby. And he starred in The Thin Man, and also for a time in The Adventures of the Abbotts, and remained active as an archivist and historian with radio for many years, and was admitted to the Radio Hall of Fame in 1995. So a very unique and interesting guy. This week, we're going to turn to one of the oldest radio dramas we've done in any form, with Diamond Dramas. This series actually originally aired in the 1920s. It was produced by Sidney S. Fox, who owned the Miracle Diamonds Company. And he wanted to get syndication rights to the series, which aired in 1926 and 1927. And so he eventually ended up buying the radio studio. And he had those rights and did another syndication in 1934. And then he re-syndicated them, this time with two different diamond companies sponsoring the series. And then it went into nationwide syndication, and it was sponsored by two separate jewelry companies, with the Davison and Litch Jewelry Company and the Gruen Watch Company being the keys behind the syndication. Diamond Dramas is a very interesting story. It focuses on the amazing stories which have sprung up around the world's most legendary diamonds. Many of these stories are stuff of how empires rise and fall, and even tales of great wars. And such is our first example with the Yellow Eye, and we don't have either its first air date or first syndication date, but its second syndication date was December the 2nd of 1935.
It is late fall in the year of 1812. Napoleon, with his half-starved, exhausted troops, has just entered the city of Moscow. As the soldiers pass through the street below, Napoleon and Murat stand at the window of their new headquarters. Rising from the center of the city, a great citadel towers over the many gleaming roofs. It is the citadel of the Tsars, the Kremlin. Murat, if all goes well, we shall not return to France empty-handed. What do you mean, sir? I mean that I believe the Russian crown jewels are hidden within Moscow. Russian crown? The royal family fled in haste. They must have hidden the jewels somewhere within the city. But we could never find... Remember that little beggar woman who followed us in the street? I've sent for her. She might know something. crown jewels of Russia. But is it not strange, sire, that the mayor and all the people of Moscow have fled? It is reported that on the road to Vladimir, thousands with their carts and household goods are retreating with the soldiers. There must be some reason.
What matter? There's food and rest for our men here within the city. Another week on the plains and the men would have starved. Perhaps later, frozen.
Moscow. It is a wonderful feat, sire.
But the cost has been too great. Think, Murat. Thousands of my men died on the plain. Look down there. Some of them marching even without shoes. A tired, ragged, half-starved lot they are. And what have I to give them for their service?
They expect no reward, Your Majesty.
But they shall have one. I'll find some way. I can only discover the crown jewels. Close down the window and shut out that noise. Yes. There. Murat, did you ever hear of the Orloff diamond?
Yes, sire.
That diamond is among the Russian crown jewels. See, it is an eye-shaped yellow diamond, almost priceless. Think of it. I could more than pay my soldiers.
Oh, Your Majesty, take the crown jewels. Sell them as you like, but do not touch the Orloff diamond.
Why not? It's probably worth all the rest of the jewels put together.
It is evil, sire, and will bring only bad luck.
Ah, the beggar will only tell me. Davout has brought her.
Get in here, I tell you. Hurry, hurry.
Let me alone, please. The pig French.
Quiet! Leave the old woman. Sure, she fights like a she-cat.
Let me go. And your son and the country you come from, may the curse of heaven consume you all.
Quiet!
Let go. What do you want with me? I am only a poor old woman that must beg for a few pennies. What can the great French general want of me?
Only answer my questions. You speak the truth, you may go. If not...
Oh, have mercy, mercy! What could you want of the poor old beggar of the street?
Before the royal family fled the city, they hid the crown jewels of Russia. Where are they?
You want? I don't know. Let me go.
Where are the jewels?
How should I know? I tell you, I'm only a poor...
Either you tell or your life goes.
No, mercy, mercy. Take pity on a poor old beggar woman. What good would it do to kill one like me?
What good? When my men are starving, have a long march ahead. I need money, clothes for the men. What good? What good is your life against the thousands of my men? Where are the jewels?
I don't know.
Where are the jewels?
I will tell. I'm not sure. I only heard. I only guessed. They are in the Kremlin. Oh, heaven forgive me. In a casket. In a sacred place. You will not dare.
In a casket in the Kremlin? What room?
You would not dare.
In what room is this casket?
At the end of the long stair, on the left as you enter. There the holy bodies of the priests are buried. Oh, heaven rest their souls.
You may go. But if you have not told the truth...
But I have. Infidel. You dare not steal them. The curse of heaven would fall. You dare not.
Get out!
Infidel, you will pay.
In the Kremlin? Davout. Yes, sir. Find me 6 trusted men of the Imperial staff. Meet us at the great door of the Kremlin in half an hour. Well, move, sir. Why do you stare?
Your pardon, sir. Did you say the Kremlin?
You heard? In half an hour. It will be dusk by then.
Very well. Surely your majesty would not dare to desecrate a church.
I intend, Murat, to pay my men what they deserve.
But your majesty, a church. We're in a strange city. and the soldiers are superstitious. They would fear some evil. Oh, and your majesty, pardon, but I warn you. The all-off diamond is supposed always to bring bad luck. Don't.
It is Murat who is superstitious, not the soldiers.
Oh, believe me, sire, that diamond is evil. Listen, years ago, Count Orloff gave it to Catherine the Great. Surely you have heard in what miserable insanity the Count died. The diamond has brought nothing but bad luck, and we have need of only good luck. Oh, my friend, do not touch it. Besides, sire, lies now in a sacred place.
France needs money. We have yet to rebuild the navy, and you say do not touch it? The men are in tatters. My men who followed so bravely across the plains, and many left their bones to bleach. Yet you say do not touch the crown jewels of Russia?
Perhaps the old woman was lying.
Beggar woman never lies when she trembles and blubbers for her life. She might be wrong, but we shall see.
Sire,
Come, it's almost time.
Oh, I beg you, sire, do not desecrate a church.
I've heard enough. Will you come or stay?
I'll come.
Ah, mon Dieu. My poor soldiers have found rest at last. Look how weary they are. Soon all will be fed and fast asleep.
Why do you suppose, sire, that all the people fled and left Moscow so deserted?
You're as nervous as an old woman, Murat.
Oh, but I don't like this city. With its crooked streets, its arches, and painted roofs. There's Davout now, waiting with his men. Oh, I'll be glad to leave this place.
Davout?
Yes, sire.
Here's Marchionnet, Eugene, Tarou, Mortier. The others thought it unwise, sire.
Eh? Unwise? We shall see. Beggar said the jewels lie at the end of a long winding stair on the left. You will follow me.
Look, 3 priests at the end of the corridor. Now they're gone. Scuttled away like rats. I don't like their looks.
Eugene, Tarou, guard the door. See that no one enters. Now come, up this stair.
Oh, it's gloomy here. Oh, what a long, winding stair. Such strange doors and walls. Kremlin. Citadel of the Tsar. Queer place. Makes one feel strange and creepy. Oh, Your Majesty, if we find the jewels, do not touch the yellow diamond.
Here, this must be the door. Open it.
Oh, I don't like this. No good will come of it. Oh, it's too dark to see her. Oh, what a musty-smelling place.
Marchionnet, light the torch.
Look out, cobwebs. Beggar said that they buried their priests and cardinals here. Oh, there are the caskets.
Must be that big one over there on that slab. We'll open that one. Hey, Davout, open the casket.
I warn you, sire. Oh,
you Russian crown jewels.
Look, that eye-shaped glittering stone in the scepter. That's the diamond. Oh, Your Majesty, do not touch it.
So this is the all-off diamond. Ah, Murat, think of the grief and bloodshed caused by this jewel. It has been a symbol of power and sovereignty, but never before has it meant so much to a nation. The all-off diamond, priceless now, but even more priceless when it has clothed and fed an army. Look at it! The salvation of an empire!
Fire!
Here,
Fire!
put it in this bag. Take them all. What's that noise? Tarou! I left you to guard.
Fire! The city is in flames. The soldiers are being driven from their quarters. They're frantic.
The city on fire?
A few Russians were left hidden in the city. They've set fire to the buildings. The soldiers have heard of the theft of the jewels from the church, and they cry out against you, sire. You must leave.
Ah, so that is why all the people fled. I did not guess.
There's no time to waste, sire.
The soldiers are clamoring outside the door. So we must leave Moscow. Come, wait! Wait! Look through the window. The city is in flames. Oh, see what a ghastly red glow lights the sky. It's the diamond. The evil diamond. Before we leave, listen. Those desperate men outside depend on you. You're driven out on the plains. There's almost certain defeat. But the faith and courage of the army rests with you. Do not fail them. Eugene and Ney, all in with your division straight back on the Petersburg road. Yes, sir. Nabu, you upon the Smolensk route. Yes, sir. I will go meanwhile to Petroshki. Come, let us go. Oh, monsieur, this means our ruin. Oh, again it is the curse of the diamond. The yellow diamond. Open the door.
Welcome back. Well, the Diamond dramas weren't all about kings and emperors. Sometimes the stories were about a different class of people. People who lacked the prestige of Napoleon, whose lives were still impacted through their efforts to obtain one of the world's great diamonds. Here, with a second air date of November 4th of 1935, is the Highwayman's Diamond.
Perhaps the strangest incident in the history of the Hope Diamond occurred about the year 1630. Gilderoy, that bold and daring Scottish highwayman, has just returned to Scotland from France, and he wears an unusually large and beautiful diamond ring. Sir Percy MacDougall has learned of the ring and how Gilderoy obtained it. He knows that soon Gilderoy will come to his sweetheart, Peg Cunningham, who lives just across the moor. Because he has sworn to capture Gilderoy, Sir Percy visits Peg in an effort to make her betray her lover. Listen.
I tell you, Peg, £1,000 are offered for his capture. And if you'll help me, I'll give you half.
What Gilderoy done to me that I should want to see him swinging on the gallows?
By heaven, he's committed 1,000 crimes right here in Scotland. You're no forgetting, are you, Peg, how he waylaid the Laird of Session?
Mayhap he did and mayhap he didn't. But the Laird of Session only got what he was deserving.
Aye, and someday they'll catch Gilderoy. Then where will you be? But now, if you listen to me, there's £1,000 reward.
You'll never get it, Sir Percy, if you're expecting me to help you.
Wait, Peg. It's said that he's wearing a diamond ring given to him by a beautiful lady in France.
I'll have no more of your talk. Roy is true to me wherever he goes.
And I heard it from authority that Gilderoy loves this French lady.
'Tis a lie, a monstrous lie.
Well, you can find out for yourself when he comes. But most likely he'll tell you a lie. Listen, Peg. He'll tell you that he stole the ring from Cardinal Richelieu in France. And if he tells you that, you'll know 'tis a lie.
No, Roy will not lie to Peg. I will not believe he'll be false to me.
Well, if you happen to change your mind, Peg, about my offer, come to see me.
I'll not change my mind.
But you may when you hear what he says about the diamond and the Cardinal Richelieu.
Get out of my house. I want no more of your talk. Listen, there's Gilderoy coming now.
Peg, tell me how to get out of here. He'll kill me. What'll I do?
Sir Percy, you'll never get the reward if you're scared of him as that. You can go back the back way, through that door over there. Goodbye to you, Sir Percy. You better get along home or you'll be safe in your bed.
Oh, there's a man out here who would like to see Peg coming in.
Come in, Roy. Welcome back to Scotland.
Peggy, lass, that is good to come back.
Roy, I thought you would never come. You've been gone so long.
Ah, my bonny lass, and you wanted me back. You wanted your old scoundrel back.
You know, even if you're not worth the salt you eat, I'm glad to have you back.
Why, Peg, you're now looking on the boldest and strongest man in all Scotland.
Roy.
Why, if you'd seen me in France, you'd thought me the handsomest prince or duke in the kingdom. And you should have seen how I tricked the duke. I never could say the name. But I fought with my sword 100 times, and 100 times I won.
And such boasting I've not heard in Scotland since you left.
Boasting, you say? Why, I tell you, Peg, I've got hidden away more gold and silver plate than you ever dreamed on. Ah, lassie, here I come back a-telling of my deed, and you say I'm boasting. But wait, Peg. Wait till you hear how I duped the cardinal and the king. Oh, why, lassie, what's the trouble in you?
You're wearing a ring, Gilderoy. A diamond ring.
Ah, 'tis what I was going to tell you about.
I care not for your tales. Where'd you get the ring?
Ah, Peg, it was the boldest trick I ever did in my life.
You need not tell me a tale about Cardinal Richelieu.
Well, Peg, have you heard it then? Who told you?
You had better not tease me, Roy.
Oh, you should have seen it, Peg. There sat the king and the whole court watching me take the cardinal's purse. And when I put my finger on my lips, the king thought it all a joke.
Roy, where'd you get the diamond?
Oh, but that's what I'm telling, lad. And when the cardinal missed his purse, everybody, even the king, laughed outright. Until the king couldn't find his own purse neither. Then I thought it was time to come back to Scotland.
Gilderoy, you cannot tell lies to Peg Cunningham. Where'd you get the diamond?
That's exactly what I'm telling you, Peg. I stole the cardinal's purse, and when I knew it was safe, I opened it. There was the diamond.
It's a lie, you tell. Someone gave you the ring, and you better tell me true.
Ah, Peg, here I'd almost forgotten how you could get upset and jealous like.
You better tell me true, for I've heard all about it.
Well, what did you hear?
And I said it wasn't true. But now, when you tell me a tale like that...
Oh, Peggy, lass, mayhap you think a beautiful lady gave it to you.
Then 'tis true. A lady in France. A beautiful lady. Not like Peg, but a fine lady. And you laugh because you love her. She have given you the ring to wear.
Peg, you don't know.
Do you think it's fun to be false, to take and to laugh? I wouldn't believe. I said it was not true. But you learn. You cannot treat Peg Cunningham like that.
Peggy, lass, now you stop it. I've warned you before. Your jealousy is going to cause you trouble, and it makes you unhappy. Now listen, I'm going out and take care of my horse. When I come back, I want to find you smiling again. I won't be gone very long.
It's true. She gave him the ring. And he told me a lie. That's what Sir Percy said he would tell. Oh, I cannot treat Peg like that. I'll show him. He'll never be false to Peg again. Never again. I'll show this man.
I thought she'd changed your mind when he told you his lies.
I didn't come to talk, Sir Percy. Tell me what you want me to do.
Listen. Tomorrow night, have Gilderoy come to your house. And we'll surprise him there. 50 or more on us.
50 soldiers?
Aye. and we'll take him to jail, and mayhap he'll... Ah, well, who knows?
You'll take him to jail and... Oh, no. I'll change my mind again. I cannot do it. I cannot do it, Sir Percy.
Ah, Peg, you let him wear that ring before your very eyes, when every time he looks at it, he's thinking of the beautiful lady waiting for him in France.
No.
Mayhap he told his French lover about his clumsy Scottish girl, and they laughed at you.
Yes, I'll do it.
Ah, good. Then will you have him at your house tomorrow night?
Yes.
You'll leave the doors unlocked?
Yes, I will.
And if he unbuckles his sword or his guns, you'll hide them when he's no looking? Will you do that too?
Yes.
But wait. Supposing he refuses to come to your house?
Sir Percy, if I ask Gilroy to come, he'll be there. Now I must go.
Ah, well, goodbye, Peg. And when the moon rises over the moor, we'll be ready. Ready to attack the rogue.
Why are you so glum tonight, Peg? Here I've brought you presents, tiller and fine lace back from France. And there you sit a-pouting and staring in the fire.
'Tis nothing.
Are you sure now there's nothing wrong? Tell me, lass, what makes you so sad?
Are you planning to go back to France very soon now?
Well, lass, I'm staying right here in Scotland.
But mayhap you'll grow lonesome for France.
Lonesome for France? Listen, Peggy. Today I roused me out a band of fearless outlaws, and I'm going to ride the highways from Perth to Aberdeen.
But I thought you liked France. All the fine gentlemen and ladies.
Peg, you cannot forget the ladies. Peg, 'tis not France I'm lonesome for, but Scotland. I want to ride again under the Scottish moon and o'er the Scottish Highlands. Then I can always come back to my Peg.
Are you sure you would always come back to Peg?
Just as sure as I am that the moon will soon rise over the moor. See, Peg, through the window. Well, lass, you're trembling and pale.
'Twon't be long now when the moon will rise. Roy, I got to tell you something.
What is it, Peg?
I've loved you and cared for you when you were sick. And you know that when there was danger, 'twas always Peg who was ready and willing to help. Then you went away and left me alone. But I love you still and was faithful as it waited for you to come back to Scotland.
Why, Peg, what's this that you're telling me?
Now, would I believe the tales I heard about your loving a beautiful lady in France? But when you come back wearing the diamond ring that belonged to the lady, and telling me lies about who you got it, then I couldn't help but believe you played me false.
Well, lassie, if 'tis the ring that's upsetting you, here, I'll give it to you.
You'll give me the ring of the lady you love? No, I don't want it.
Here, let me put it on. But look, 'tis a man's ring and too big for your little finger.
A man's ring? Roy, 'tis really a man's ring?
Of course, Peg. 'Twas in the purse of the cardinal.
Oh, I don't know what to believe. Look, the moon's coming up. Oh, Roy, tell me 'twas a lie you told.
Believe me, lass, I wouldn't tell you lies. You know that. Say you believe me.
Oh, already the moon is just coming up over the moor. Oh, 'tis too late to believe.
What do you mean, Peg? What have you done?
The house is surrounded by now, and there'll be a coming in.
Peggy, what have you done?
Roy, do not stand and stare at me like that. Oh, even if you are false, I cannot see your cut. Quick, jump through the window. You might get away. There's still time.
Peggy, what's happening? What do you mean?
Do not ask me questions. Hurry, Roy. Mayhap you can get away if you jump. Go on. Why don't you move? Why do you stand there and stare at me? Oh, no, it's too late to jump. You'll have to fight, Roy. I'll get your sword. I'll get it for you. Oh,
Stay where you are, Peg Cunningham. Stay where you are. Don't move. You're trapped, Gilderoy. At last we've got you.
Oh, it's too late.
I wouldn't have believed you could do this, Peg.
'Twas the ring. You were false to me. You'd go back to France.
So you betrayed me then.
But 'twas a lie you told about the cardinal.
Was no lie, Peg. Ask Sir Percy.
Aye, Peg, he's right. Gilderoy told you the truth. Now give me the ring. I must send it back to Cardinal Richelieu.
The ring? Then 'twas you, Sir Percy, who lied. You made me believe. You told me lies.
Tie him up, lad. There's back no chances with Gilderoy.
Oh, no. Oh, Roy, I didn't know what I was doing.
Lassie. It's hard to believe.
No. It was Sir Percy who told me, Roy. Roy, look at me.
Now, if you're all ready, let's go.
Roy, I love you, Roy. Look at me, Roy, please.
Peggy, lass.
I cannot take you to jail. I didn't know what I was doing.
Don't you worry, lassie. Or I'll be coming back. There's not a jail in all Scotland that can hold me. Not a one. You know that, Peggy.
He's around there. Let go of him, Peg. We got no time to waste.
No. I cannot see you go to jail.
I tell you, I'll come back. So be listening for my song. I'll come back again to you, Peg.
Take it out. Goodbye, lassie. Remember, it won't be long.
Goodbye. Goodbye, Roy.
But Gilderoy never came back to his page. And after his death, the diamond ring was sent back to France. The famous diamond that seemed to carry bad luck wherever it went.
Welcome back. Well, an interesting story. Some fair bit of dialect, though not bad for 1926 and 27. Well, now we do turn to listener comments and feedback, and we have a couple of feedbacks on our first episode. Debbie says, thank you, Adam, for sharing. I always like the Whistler. The stories always end with a twist. And Tina says, The Whistler is one of my all-time faves. Thanks so much. Well, I hope you enjoyed the Chicago version of The Whistler. And we look forward to hearing from you about the show and about what types of programs you might want to hear on future installments of The Amazing World of Radio. Recently, Janet Waldo passed away at the age of 96. And she was a well-known voice actress. She was known as the voice of Judy Jetson from the Jetsons and Josie from Josie and the Pussycats. Yet she had her roots in radio. And in honor of her life and work, we're going to take a listen to a program that was a mainstay on radio for 13 years. Meet Corliss Archer. Aired from 1943 to 1956. It was on the air longer than many better remembered programs such as Our Miss Brooks. The big problem for Meet Corliss Archer is there are relatively few episodes of that series that remain in circulation. But it was incredibly popular over radio, and it even spawned a comic book series. Now, this episode we're going to bring you of Meet Corliss Archer, of course, does have Janet Waldo in it. The original air date on it is August the 11th of 1946, and the title is Babysitting Job.
Good. Good. That's what Campbell soups are. Good.
Campbell Soups invite you to Meet Corliss Archer, starring Janet Waldo.
Oh, hello there, Mr. Sharbet.
Hello, Corliss. You seem on top of the world.
Oh, I am, Mr. Sharbet, on account of those perfectly divine clothes.
Clothes?
Mm-hmm.
What clothes?
My back-to-school wardrobe, of course.
Oh.
Mom took me shopping yesterday, and we got the most precious things. There was one little green dress with cap sleeves and all studded with gold nail heads, and a luscious corduroy suit, and a new raspberry sweater, and, of course, the best thing of all was the soup.
Soup. Well, what on earth is soup doing in the middle of your wardrobe?
Oh, Mr. Sharbet, you're so diverting, honestly. It wasn't in the middle of my wardrobe. It was afterwards. After we'd been shopping, I mean.
Oh, I see.
It was Louise's day out, and Mum had to get Daddy's dinner, and she wanted it to be something he specially likes. And that...
Whoa there, Corliss. Let me guess. Campbell's chicken noodle soup,
Mr. Sharbet, you are positively psychic. Yes, Campbell's chicken noodle soup. That soup is so good, it makes a main dish that's simply terrific and ready in a jiff. Oh, my goodness, that's poetry.
Well, not only that, Corliss, it's true. There's no main dish that's more tempting or quicker to fix than Campbell's chicken noodle soup.
You're so right, Mr. Sharbet. Bye now.
This morning, on her way to breakfast, Corliss stops by in the kitchen for a few words with Louise.
About time you showed up, young lady. You're late again. Father and Mother are halfway through their breakfast.
Oh, Daddy won't mind, Louise. I mean, look at the beautiful flower I picked for his lapel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, golly, Louise, those hot cakes smell absolutely divine.
Uh-huh.
Louise, darling, whenever I have to face a crisis, I've always been able to turn to you, haven't I?
Listen, young lady, I diapered you, and that tone of voice always means you want to borrow money.
But I always pay it back.
You're not going to pay it back this time.
Why do you say that, Louise?
Because I'm not going to lend you any, that's why.
But, Louise...
Listen, Corliss, both your mother and father told me not to...
Quiet. I don't want them to hear.
I'll bet you don't.
But, Louise, you don't understand. It's for their anniversary present. I saw something at Benson's that's absolutely out of this world that I want to get them. Only I don't have quite enough... All right, Angel, I'm coming. Hello, Mom. Good morning, Daddy.
Morning.
Look at this simply gorgeous flower I picked for you, Daddy.
Now, Corliss, you're late again. Sit down and eat your breakfast.
Okay, Mom, but first let me fix it in Daddy's buttonhole. There. Doesn't he look sensational? I mean, golly, I think men with buttonholes look so prosperous, don't you, Daddy?
My child, so far as you are concerned, prosperity is still around the corner, if that's what you're driving at.
Oh, Daddy, you're terrible. Just because I see how nice you look, is that any reason to think I'm hinting for money?
Well, it often has been in the past.
Well, don't worry, Daddy. As a matter of fact, I do need money in the worst way, but I'm not going to borrow it. I'm going to earn it.
Oh, splendid.
Daddy, may I have the classified section of the paper, please?
Sure, help yourself.
I'm going to look right now under Help Wanted, and I'm going to work practically immediately.
You better eat your breakfast first, dear.
Daddy, listen. Would you let me take this job? Oh, golly, this sounds terrific.
What is it?
Wanted, young girl with beautiful feet to demonstrate toenail polish in department store window. Excellent pay. Apply Benson's cosmetic department.
Too bad, Corliss. Now, if only you had beautiful feet, there'd be a job with a future.
But, Daddy, you said yourself my feet were just like Mom's. And you know that she's got the most beautiful feet in the world.
She's got you there, Harry.
Oh, no, she hasn't. You do have beautiful feet, Janet. And if you wish to apply for the job, I'll raise no objections. Corliss is too young.
But, Daddy...
Darling, don't be silly. We wouldn't dream of letting you sit in the window of Benson's demonstrating toenail polish.
But, Mom, why not? I could wear a black mask or something, and then I bet crowds would gather and wonder who I was.
Yes, and Dexter would be in that crowd saying, "Holy cow, look at Corliss's feet." None of us would ever be able to hold our heads up again.
Oh, well, I'll look for other jobs. Oh, golly, Daddy, how about this one? Wanted immediately. Attractive car hop. Good salary and excellent tips. Oh, Daddy, would you let me be a car hop?
In a word, no.
Corliss, dear, we've been through all this. You are not going to take a job. You've got a great deal of homework to do during vacation to make up for your poor grades, so just forget all about it.
But, Mom, you don't realize it is absolutely imperative that I should get a good, steady-paying job.
You mean imperative?
And how, Daddy?
Corliss! Oh,
What is it, Dexter?
Hi, everybody.
Hello, Dexter.
Good morning, Dexter.
Gee whiz, would you take a long time to eat? Holy cow.
Corliss, do you still crave a steady, well-paying job?
Well, of course, Daddy.
Are you going to let her go to work, Mr. Archer?
Shut up, Dexter. What did you have in mind, Daddy?
Would you like to earn $50, Corliss?
Golly.
$50. Holy cow.
Shut up, Dexter. What would I have to do, Daddy?
I will pay you the sum of $50, Corliss, if you can wean Dexter permanently from his favorite deity, that eternal holy cow.
Huh?
And I'll add a bonus of $25 if you'll expurgate the huhs.
Holy cow, what's wrong with her?
Huh?
And so you see, Dexter, how absolutely vital it is for me to have at least $7.50.
Well, it's no use looking at me. I'm so broke it's brutal.
Oh, look, Dexter, look at that baby in the playpen across the street where the new people moved in yesterday. Oh, isn't that the most heavenly baby? Let's go and play with it.
You're crazy. I wouldn't be seen dead playing with a baby.
Dexter Franklin, I certainly hope you change your mind before you have a baby of your own. I'm going over to play with it.
Okay. Let me know when you're through.
Oh, hello, honey. What's your name, huh? Oh, aren't you just too cute for words? Cootsy, cootsy, cootsy. Whose precious little lamb are you? Oh, you're so sweet. You're trying so hard to talk to me, aren't you? Oh, and I'll bet this is your mummy coming. Good morning. I hope you don't mind my playing with your baby. What's her name? It's a good thing Conrad isn't old enough to understand what you're saying, or he'd be furious, wouldn't you, Conrad? Oh, how silly of me. I should have known by the shape of his head that he was all boy. Oh, he's beautiful. I just adore children.
You live here in the neighborhood?
Oh, yes.
I'm so glad. You know, we just moved in. I haven't a thing settled yet, and we don't know a soul in this part of town. Of course, eventually I intend to get someone in to help me with little Conrad, but you know what that problem is today.
Oh, yes.
It's so hard to find just the right person, even for a sitter. Of course, I wouldn't trust Conrad with just anyone. I'd have to be sure that it was someone who really loved children. Like yourself, for instance. Anyone can see that you...
Oh, why, thank you, Mrs.
Barnett.
Oh, yes, of course, Mrs. Barnett. We heard you were moving in.
Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not the kind of a mother who's always running out. But I'm just about at my wit's end about tonight.
Tonight?
Oh, yes. Could you stay with the baby tonight? You see, it's my sister's birthday, and she'd never forgive my husband and me if we didn't come.
Oh.
I was just going to call her and tell her that I don't know how we could make it, but I watched you with Conrad, and right away I knew you were just the kind of a girl I wanted for a sitter.
Oh, golly, that's awfully nice of you, Mrs. Barnett. Tonight?
Yes. Now, I understand it's customary to pay 50 cents an hour. Is that all right with you?
Oh, that's just fine. I'd be glad to sit with him any night, all night long.
Oh, that won't be necessary. We won't be out very late tonight. Are you sure it's all right with your parents?
My parents? Oh, sure. They never object to anything I do.
Harry, how about some more pie?
No, thanks, Janet. It's nearly 7:30, and if we're going to play bridge with the Ameses, let's shove off.
All right, dear, but Corliss hasn't finished her dessert yet. Why the rush?
Oh, it's okay, Mom. Dexter will keep me company, won't you, Dex?
Well, always do, darling.
The sooner we get started, Janet, the earlier we can break up.
Well, now, Harry, we can't rush away too early.
Oh, yes, we can. I have to be up at the crack of dawn, and I want to be in bed not later than 11. Come on, Janet. The car's in the driveway. Good night, baby.
Good night.
Good night, Dexter.
Good night, Mr. Archer.
And Corliss, don't forget you're not to go to the movies tonight. You'll go to bed early.
Okay, Mom.
Good night, darling. Night, Dexter.
Good night, Miss Archer.
Oh, now that they've gone, Dexter, I can tell you a secret. I've got a simply terrific job as sitter for that darling baby we saw, and I'm starting tonight at 8.
Gee whiz, how did you sell your parents that idea?
I didn't, Dopey. They don't know a thing about it.
How are you going to sit with a baby across the street if you're not supposed to go out?
Mom didn't say I wasn't to go out. She said I wasn't to go out to a movie.
Yeah, but you told me they said no dice on any job.
Sitting isn't exactly a job, Dexter. I mean, golly, a person has to sit practically half their lifetime. And if you get paid for it...
Well, okay, it's your funeral.
Dexter Franklin, you mean to sit there and tell me you're not going to help me?
Gee whiz, how can a person help a person sit?
All I can say is this, Dexter. If you don't come over there after I'm all established and keep me company and help me look after that baby, I'll never...
I know. You'll never speak to me again as long as you live.
Oh, no, Dexter. Much more than that. I'll never marry you and be the mother to your children either.
Okay. You win.
Formula's all made, dear. It's in the refrigerator.
Oh, yes, Mrs. Barnett.
I'm sure you won't have to use it. Conrad always sleeps right through the night.
What time were you planning to come home?
Well, if we're going to be awfully late, I'll phone you and let you know.
Oh, yes, maybe you'd better do that.
Coming, Ethel?
Be right with you, Ralph. Now, was there anything else you wanted to ask me, dear?
No. That is, I don't think so.
I'm sure you won't have a bit of trouble. He's such a good baby. Good night.
Good night. Oh, you're so little. I wonder what you think about all day long. One thing, I bet you don't have any problems like grown-ups do. Oh, golly, you look sweet. But please don't wake up.
Corliss!
Oh,
Corliss!
Shh. Dexter, be quiet.
Hi, Corliss.
Shh, come in.
Well, now that I'm here, what am I supposed to do?
Dexter, keep your voice down. You'll wake the baby. Come on, tiptoe.
All right.
Oh, look, Dexter. Isn't he wonderful?
Well, so what? It's a baby.
Oh, how can you be so callous?
Yeah, I guess he is kind of cute at that.
Dexter, now do you see what family life is like? Just imagine if I had some knitting and you had a pipe and your slippers on and the fireplace was blazing.
Holy cow, in the middle of summer?
You'll wake the baby.
Oh, listen, Corliss, everybody will tell you that once babies are asleep, they sleep. Anyway, they gotta get used to all kinds of noises.
Oh, Dexter, now you've done it.
Ah, he's just talking in his sleep.
Oh, Dexter, you woke him up. Now you've got to do something about it.
Oh, no, you're the little mother.
Now, let me see. What did she say? A formula, that's it. I'll get the formula. Wait a sec. Maybe he just needs changing.
Well, then change him.
Well, really, Dexter, the formula's the most important thing. I better start warming that up. You change him. She left a pile of diapers right there. There's nothing to it. Change him.
Yeah. Holy cow, me?
Fathers always change diapers, Dexter, and I may as well break you in right now.
Oh, gosh. Well, here goes. Now, let me see. There must be a knack to them. Let me see here.
How you doing, Dexter?
Don't bother me. Now, this ought to do it. Hey, Corliss, you know what? He just smiled at me.
Dexter, how hot does the formula have to get?
Oh, pretty hot, I guess. Let's see, where was I? Oh, here. You fold it this way, and around here. No, that doesn't look right. Now, let's try it this way. There, that's not bad.
The formula's just the right temperature now, I'm sure. He's gonna get his dinner now. Come on, sweetheart. Oh, now there. That's a good boy. You see, Dexter? Oh, he was simply famished.
Yeah, I guess so.
Isn't this fun?
Sort of.
Oh, Dexter, he's such a good baby. Dexter, wake up.
What's the matter?
Nothing. Except if you're going to keep me company, you might at least stay awake.
For what? You're so scared of waking the baby you won't even let me talk. I might as well go on home.
You've got to see this through with me, Dexter.
Well, gosh, how much longer do you have to stay?
Oh, until the Barnetts get home, of course.
Well, they ought to be here pretty soon. It's almost 11.
11? Oh, Dexter, my family will be home any minute. I've got to go.
And leave the baby alone?
Oh, no, of course not. That's what you're here for.
Me? You mean I've got to stay here alone with him?
Oh, we'd
It'll only be for a few minutes. I'll just slip in and say goodnight to 'em and pretend to go to bed, and then I can slip right out again. It's very simple.
Well, yeah, but what if you can't get out? What if they don't go to bed when you get home? What if they decide to sit up and talk? What am I going to do then?
Dexter Franklin, if you are going to get hysterical over the slightest little thing, I shall think twice before I marry a neurotic individual like you.
You know, it's especially pleasant for Mother when she can plan a pleasing supper that calls for only a few minutes in the kitchen. And that's just what happens when supper's built around big plates of Campbell's chicken noodle soup. With this good soup as the main dish, your meal can be ready in a jiffy, and the family will love it. For Campbell's chicken noodle soup is filled all through with a tempting taste of chicken. Even your first whiff of fragrant steam says chicken. And when you dip in your spoon, good. You like the old-fashioned egg noodles, too, and the pieces of chicken. Say, they just about melt in your mouth. Why, Campbell's chicken noodle soup is so substantial, it doesn't take much else to make a satisfying family supper. So, how about it? Campbell's chicken noodle soup, tomorrow night. Well, leaving the baby in Dexter's capable hands, Corliss has made it home just in the nick of time. As we rejoin her, Mr. and Mrs. Archer are just coming in.
Corliss, you still up?
Oh, hello, Mom. Hello, Daddy.
You look tired, baby. Why didn't you turn in early?
Oh, I was studying various things. Did you have a nice time?
Very nice, dear.
What time is it?
It's after 11, and I'm going to bed.
So are you, Corliss. Right away. Come on.
Okay, Mom. I guess I am kind of tired. It's been a long evening.
Listen. What's that?
What's what?
Oh, I can hear a baby crying. Can't you, Corliss?
A baby? Oh, no, Mother. I can't hear a thing. I don't think.
Well, I do. Must be those new neighbors across the street. I really must go over tomorrow and call on her. Well, good night, Corliss.
Good night, Mom. Good night, Daddy. Happy dreams. And, sleep soundly. Hey.
Who is it?
It's only me, Dexter.
Oh, well, you might at least warn me.
What are you so frightened about?
What if those people had come home while you were gone?
Well, I'm here now, so stop worrying. What was the baby crying about anyway?
Probably had a nightmare. I turned him over and he went right back to sleep.
Oh, thank you for staying, Dexter.
Oh, it wasn't anything.
You know, tonight has really proven to me how noble you can be in a difficult situation.
Yeah?
Uh-huh. I don't know what I would have done without you. Well, this is better than going to the movies, isn't it? This is real life.
Yeah, I guess it's all right. But when are those people going to get home?
Well, it doesn't matter now. As a matter of fact, the longer they stay out, the more money I make. It's all so easy.
Uh-oh. It's all so easy, huh?
Oh, now what's the matter with him?
He probably wants a drink. Or vice versa.
Dexter. This is no time to be facetious. Well, I guess I better get the formula again.
Oh, no. It's your turn to practice on the baby. This time I'll get the formula.
Harry, you awake?
No.
Can you hear that baby crying?
Who couldn't?
Well, that doesn't sound right to me, Harry.
Oh, Janet, stop worrying and go to sleep. Babies are always crying.
Well, not like that. That baby's in trouble.
And that's none of our business. Now, what are you doing? Come back to bed, Janet.
Harry, every light in that house is on. Something's wrong.
Well, what can we do about it?
Oh, the baby's sick, I know.
Well, we can't help that.
Dear, I think you better go over there and see what's the matter.
Now, what could I do?
Well, now, Harry, they just moved into the neighborhood, and you know how hard it is to get doctors these days. Maybe you could call Dr. Pemberton for them.
Oh, you're making a mountain out of a molehill. We don't even know those people. If I go barging in over there, they might resent it, and I wouldn't blame them. Oh, all right, Janet, you go back to bed. I'll go.
Oh, pipe down, will you, please?
Don't scold him. He can't help it.
Hey, how's about giving him a hot bath?
Oh, you're crazy.
Well, he seems to be in pain. My old man always takes a hot bath when his legs hurt him.
Conrad is not quite as old as your father.
He screams as loud.
Oh, golly, aren't those people ever coming home? She said she'd phone if she was going to be late. Oh, Dexter, go look out the window and see if you can see any sign of them.
Okay.
Oh, please, Conrad, please. You were such a good baby.
Holy cow, Corliss, your father's coming over.
Daddy? Oh, Dexter, what am I going to do?
I don't know what you're going to do, but I'm leaving.
Dexter Franklin, don't you dare. You're in this just as deep as I am, and you've got to face the music with me. Oh, please don't desert me now, Dexter.
What do we do now?
Well, let's duck in the next room. Maybe he'll go away. If he finds me here, I'm sunk.
Anybody home? I mean, yeah, anyone else? I hear you. Well, can you beat that? Leaving a baby in a house alone. Well, hello there, you poor little guy. Come on, up you go. Let's see what we can do about this. Now, if I can remember how it goes. A rock-a-bye baby on the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall. And down will come baby, cradle and all. Well, I guess I haven't forgotten after all. There's nothing the matter with you except your parents. Oh. Well, little fellow, you can't answer it. I guess I better. Hello?
Oh, I'm sorry. I must have the wrong number.
Who's this calling?
What number is this?
Let me see. Walnut 51331.
Who are you? Is that my baby? What's the matter with my baby?
Oh, so this is your baby. Well, madam, all I have to say to you is...
Girl.
What girl? There's nobody here.
But there was. Oh, my baby.
It's about time you started worrying about your baby.
Hello, please don't go.
You think I'd leave a baby alone?
Oh, please, I'll be right home.
Well, young man, I guess they won't go out and leave you alone again in a hurry. Now what's the matter? Oh, so you need a change. I wonder if I can remember how to do that. Well, I know I can take it off anyhow. Let me see. Oh, here's a clean one. Now you fold it this way. And wait a minute. No, that's not right. It's this way. No, it isn't. Give me a little time, will you? I'll get it. Yes?
Harry, I had to come over. I simply couldn't stand it another minute. Don't mean to tell me they went off and left this baby here alone.
Why do you think I'm changing diapers? Woman just phoned. She's on her way home.
Why, I never heard of such a thing in all my life. Here, let me have that diaper. Harry, you've got to get up early. Run along home. I can manage this. And besides, I don't like the idea of leaving Corliss alone in the house at this late at night.
Well, she's not a baby. She can take care of herself. Well, here they are. Now, I know how you feel, Janet, but hold your temper.
My baby, where's my baby?
Right here, sound asleep. Everything's all right now.
What are you doing with my baby? Give him to me.
Take it easy, Ethel.
Now you've wakened him again.
Oh, darling, poor little Conrad. What have they done to you? No wonder you're crying with all these strange people around.
Look, madam, this wasn't our idea. Your baby was waking up the whole neighborhood.
But I don't understand.
Now, Ethel, calm down and let's see if we can straighten out this mess. My name's Barnett. What's yours?
Archer. And we live across the street.
Well, Mr. Archer, my wife here hired a girl to sit with the baby. Where is she?
Oh, then you did have a sitter.
Of course, and she seemed to be such a sweet girl. I can't understand why she would leave the baby like this. Of course, I'm new here, and I must admit I hardly know a thing about this girl.
Well, Mrs. Barnett, perhaps next time you'll look into the girl's background a little more thoroughly.
That's not a bad idea. Just wait till I get my hands on this disgraceful, irresponsible girl.
Hi, everybody.
Dexter, what are you doing over here?
And he came out of the kitchen.
Yeah, that's where we've been. Come on, Corliss.
Corliss? Is she over here?
Corliss.
Yes, Daddy. Hello, Mrs. Barnett. That's the girl. How dare you leave my baby?
Take it easy, Ethel. These people seem to know her.
Holy cow, they ought to know her. She's their daughter.
All right, Corliss, let's hear your explanation.
Oh, Daddy, I'll explain it all to you later, but I just want to tell Mrs. Barnett that the baby's been perfectly all right. I mean, honestly, someone's been with him all the time.
And we gave him his formula and changed his diapers and did everything.
And the only reason things got so confused, Mrs. Barnett, is on account of I've got a special reason why I didn't want my parents to know what I was doing.
Yeah, so when they came tearing over, we hid in the kitchen.
Well, you see, Mrs. Barnett...
Yeah, and I watched through the keyhole and saw Mr. Archer change the baby. And I can do it in half the time.
And may I ask who you are?
Huh? Now, who, me?
Yes.
Oh, sure. My name's Dexter Franklin. I live next door to the Archers, and I always help Corliss sit with babies on account of we're practically almost engaged, and it's very good practice.
Practice? What do you mean?
On account of when we get married, we'll be able to do our own sitting.
In just a minute, we'll rejoin the Archers. Ladies, why not serve Campbell's chicken noodle soup for supper tomorrow night? Along with a salad and perhaps cold cuts and a tempting dessert, you'll find that this delicious soup puts real old-time good eating in your summer meal. For Campbell's make this soup the good old-fashioned way. They simmer fine, plump chickens long and slowly for a rich chicken stock. They add lots of golden egg noodles and make sure they're tender pieces of chicken. Good. So to make tomorrow night's cool supper more appealing and satisfying, start it off with brimming bowls of Campbell's chicken noodle soup. And now it's about half an hour later. The Archers have gone back to their house, and we find Corliss very much in the doghouse up in her bedroom. Under her window, Dexter is saying goodnight.
Hey, Corliss, you all right?
Oh, golly, Dexter, you should have heard the bawling out I got.
Yeah, I heard your old man yelling even up in my room.
And the ghastly thing is, Dexter, that Daddy yanked me home before I could collect my wages. I was there from 8 till 12, so that's $2 they owe me.
$4.
No, Dexter. 4 hours at 50 cents is $2.
Yeah, but that's for only one sitter. We were two.
My dear boy, after this ghastly row, I'd never have the nerve.
Quit worrying. I already got it. See? 1, 2, 3, $4. Mr. Barnett insisted we take it. He was swell about everything.
Golly, $4.
I'll wrap them around a stone and throw them up into your room.
All 4 of them?
Sure, it was your idea. You're the one who needs dough. Here it comes. Holy cow!
Good. Good. That's what Campbell soup does.
You have just heard Meet Corliss Archer, starring Janet Waldo as Corliss. This is Del Sharbutt speaking for Campbell Soups, inviting you to listen in again next Sunday and bidding you good night from Hollywood.
Good. Good. That's what Campbell soups are. Good.
Meet Corliss Archer is written by F. Hugh Herbert. Music was composed and conducted by Charles Dance. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting
System. Welcome back. Well, definitely a very different series. Certainly far more innocent than much of the team-based programming that has come along since. And there's something a bit quaint about a whole lot of the way this story is told. But it's a pretty fun little story, and I wish there were a lot more episodes out there. Now we do turn to comments and feedback, and this comes from Renee, who says, regarding episode 2, I like Les Paul, but I never knew about the radio show. Thanks for making me aware of another great old-time radio show. Well, we hope that we've exposed our listeners to at least a few shows that they would be curious to listen to more of. And for our final episode in this initial 6-week run, we're going to bring you one of the most beautiful programs that I've come across in my listening to the golden age of radio. This is The Hour of Charm, and it features an orchestra led by Phil Spitolny. Now that doesn't make it anything interesting in and of itself, except he was a bit of a visionary for the time. There was a thought, or I guess you could say a belief, or prejudice would be more likely, that while women could be singers, they really didn't have what it took, the right stuff to become a great musician. Was thought they didn't have the concentration, they didn't have the discipline. Yet, one day in 1932, Spitolny heard a female pianist do such a superb job that he quit his job leading a established male orchestra to go out and form an all-female orchestra and began a search for talent to do so. He got the orchestra together, but it was a real challenge getting it going. The prejudice was so deep that many people just were not interested. But he did get some attention on the radio, first as a bit of a novelty. In the summer of 1934, the spring of 1935. But then the series landed a sponsor in the fall of 1936. And that sponsor was General Electric, who stuck with The Hour of Charm for 10 years. And then the series went to CBS with a different sponsor for 2 more years. It was a very successful program. It was an institution. Sadly, only a couple dozen episodes remain, but it was an incredible arrangement, very unique and beautiful music. Spitolny was proved right. He was ahead of his time in so much of his thinking. And he proved to be even more fortuitous when the war came and many of the male orchestras were devastated by the draft taking away their top performers. No such problem for The Hour of Charm. So here from February 11th, 1945 is an episode of The Hour of Charm broadcast over the Armed Forces radio service. And with the first song being An American Fantasy.
This is The Hour of Charm. From the stage of the Oriental Theater in Chicago, Illinois, it is our privilege to welcome you to another restful Sunday evening of music with the all-girl orchestra and choir featuring Evelyn and her magic violin under the direction of Phil Spitolny. Now, for the music, Mr. Spitolny, our director, has arranged what he calls an American fantasy on the theme of the beloved Battle Hymn of the Republic.
He is trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath
Charm presents now Francine, who sings My Old Kentucky Home. The American's Creed by William Tyler Page was written to illuminate the duties and obligations of citizenship. It is presented now by All Girl Choir.
I believe in the United States of America as a government of the people, by the people, for the people. Whose just cause are derived from the consent of the governed, a democracy in a republic, a sovereign nation of many sovereign states, a perfect union, one and inseparable, established upon those principles of freedom, equality, justice and humanity. For which American patriots sacrifice their lives and fortune. I therefore believe it is my duty to my country to love it, to support its constitution, to obey its laws, to respect its flag, and to defend it against all enemies. So let freedom reign.
Evelyn and her magic violin.
Good evening, everyone. All of us enjoy listening to music that brings to mind familiar American scenes. We are deeply indebted to Stephen Foster for the many songs he composed during those epic Lincoln years. Simple and truly descriptive music, like the song I'm going to play for my solo tonight, Way Down Upon the Swanee River.
The Hour of Charm's two versatile young pianists, Ruth and Louise, have chosen Stephen Foster's Oh, Susanna. Listen to the Mockingbird, sung now by our charming young soprano, Catherine.
Listen to the mockingbird. It brings back memories sweet of long ago. Listen to the mockingbird. Listen to the mockingbird. It seems to haunt my sad and lonely you can share it like the mockingbird in the We must be vigilant, American patrol. We're guns for the Army, ships for the Navy, let this be our goal. We must be diligent, American patrol. Protect our shoreline to the shoreline of every native soul. We need this solidarity, or else divided we will fall. It means the popularity of peace and happiness for all. Behind this cause we must keep rallying. Let there be no dilly-dally. Keep us free from shilly-shallying. March to freedom's call. Let's keep it rolling by. Let's keep it flying high. The American patrol.
This is the Armed Forces Radio Service.
Welcome back. And I think that that's a good illustration of the strength of this orchestra. It was definitely very well disciplined. And according to an article of in Life quoted in John Dunning's book On the Air, the discipline of the group even included having a committee of 5 members of the orchestra actually evaluate potential dates as to whether they could go on them. But they were great professionals, very well disciplined, and again, such a great and beautiful group to listen to. And I hope you enjoyed hearing some of their music. Well, that will actually be all for now. I would love to hear your thoughts on the show, what you thought of the programs we played, and any suggestions you might have for a future variety series. These episodes are brought to you by our Patreon supporters at patreon.greatdetectives.net for the Great Detectives of Old Time Radio. We will be back at Thanksgiving and at Christmas with some special episodes. And then we'll be back definitely in the summer with a series of programs chosen by our Patreon supporters, the Great Detectives of Old Time Radio. In the meantime, send your comments to Box 13 at greatdetectives.net. Follow us on Twitter at Radio Detectives and become one of our friends on Facebook. Facebook.com/Radio Detectives. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off.